Good evening. We're going to take a quick look at two types of factors. Um, there's another video up this week about factors and multiples telling the difference, so it would be a great video to check out too. So the factors, just to review, if you take a number, so I'm going to use the number 45 in this case, are a set of numbers that you can use to multiply and get another number. So for 45, your factors would be 1, 45, 5, and 9. So the number 45 would have a total of 4 factors. Now, if you're working with a number and you can find its factors, you can classify it. And there's two different classifications for factors, which we talked a little bit about last week in class. And the two factors are prime and composite. Okay? So the difference between prime and composite would look like this. A composite number, 45 is a perfect example. So with 45, we had 4 different factors. So we had 1, 5, 9, 45. So that's a total of 4 different factors. So a composite number is going to have 3 or more factors. And the reason why the number's 3 is because there are some numbers that have 3 factors or 5 factors, and it's an odd number. So looking at that 45, if you looked at it, you'd kind of assume that most numbers would actually have 4 factors. However, if you take a number, say like the number 9, this would be a number that would have 3 factors. So you could have 1, 3, and 9. And the reason why you'd have 3 factors is because that 3 is just repeating itself. So one of the ways you could get 9 again is 3 times 3. So you wouldn't write the 3 down twice, you just say it has 3 factors. So, alright, prime then is going to have 2 factors. And every number at least has to have 2. You can't go down to 1. It has to be at least 2. And so, for example, I could take the number 11. If you're trying to think of a way to multiply to get to 11, there's only one way, and that is 1 times 11. So a prime number is always going to have 2 factors. It's going to be the number 1 and then that number. So in this case, the factors for 11 are 1 and 11. You could also do the same thing for other numbers. So as you go through and you look at your list of numbers, if you look at a hundreds chart, you can find numbers like 19 is a prime number, 23 is a prime number, 41 is a prime number. Most of the prime numbers you're going to find are odd. Most of them are going to be odd. And the reason why that's going to be is because if you have an even number besides the number 2, it's always going to have 1, that number, and then 2. So, for example, if you took the number 6, it's going to have 1, 6, 2, and 3. If you went to the next even number, 8, it's going to have 1, 8, 2, and 4. If you went to the next even number, 10, you'd have 1, 10, and 5, and 2. Sorry. So you can see the pattern here that no matter what even number you go to, it's always going to have that 2 as a factor. So most of your prime numbers are going to be odd. But there's one odd number that actually doesn't have very many prime numbers, and that is any odd number that ends in a 5. The number 5 itself is prime because the only way you can get to it is 1 and 5. But once you get past that, 15 is going to have 1 and 15 as a factor, but then you're going to start getting into that same pattern that the even numbers had with the 2, and you're going to see that the 5 pops up. If you went to the next one with a 5, 25, you get 1, 25, and then that 5 times 5 in the middle. Same if you went on to 35, you'd have 5 as a factor, 45 has 5 as a factor. on and on and on. So anyway, that is the difference between prime and composite. Prime has only 2 factors. Composite has 3 or more. Thank you.